Alrighty. Welcome back to One Piece Anime Review, episode number 99. Yes, the very next episode for this review series will be the 100th episode of this series. Yep, this one we're covering episodes 956 to 958. 956 is basically the end of Act 2. Yep, and I looked at how long Act 2 was. Act 2 was 39 episodes. Yeah, 39. Act 1 was only 27 episodes Act 1 was. Act 2, 39 episodes. We haven't saw Act 3 yet because basically you have 2 interlude episodes. Yep. So in the case of basically the first episode, mostly put is Luffy finish up his... Now, by the way, in case you're curious though, these episodes only cover technically just 2 chapters. They finish up chapter 925, go through 926, and 927 pretty much all the way, which by the last episode we get 957. So, basically Luffy is training at Udon in his Gear 4 form. Well, he finishes up his training there, breaks a medal, and then of course he leaves. And in the case of Frankie, he's about to finish up on the ships with Usopp. Zoro gets basically Enma from, of course, Tama's master. Of course, well, in the case of Momoshiki, he says basically the one sword that's basically he's supposed to inherit, asks the swordsman to hold on to him for a little while. Yeah, he's not ready for it just yet. Nope, not ready yet. But Enma, which is supposed to go to his sister, she decided to pass it along to Zoro, mainly because he's a good swordsman, and plus also because he holds basically a cursed sword, and of course the white handle sword he's had for years, which according to the blacksmith originated in Wano. Yes, basically the all the swords he had are Wano swords. Of course, it has been confirmed that the guy who I read up a line. Apparently, the guy who he fought to get the Tsuishi, the guy, the Renma, actually his ancestor. Yep, fought his ancestor. Which is interesting. Yeah, he's basically the great. And the guy who they mentioned, the Diamond Ringo, is in fact his great uncle. I read it later on, basically to explain it. And of course, in the English dub, Saba does voice him. So he tested the sword out, basically sliced the cliff in half, and everybody's shocked if I can see this. Mostly puts a lot of preparation for the raid. That's most of what this episode is. And we have basically the retainers and Momonosuke, along with Shinobu, go to the new port. And of course, Luffy is already out of Udon. Of course, the warden of Udon does inform the evil shogun. Basically, everything is fine. And that's it for that one. Yep. Next episodes are the interlude. By the way, we're introduced to 2 brand new characters in these episodes. Yes, only 2. One is a really big one. First, we're introduced to is Shinosuke, who is a ninja, who is Shinobu's brother. Yes, Sirius, this guy is basically her brother. Yeah, he only appears in one chapter. No, seriously, he appears in one frickin' chapter of the entire series. But in episode 957, 50 actually, we see the debut, well, basically the first to hear his name, Rox D. Zabek. Who is this guy? He is the captain of the Rock Pirates. And of course, they explain in a flashback before they get to. There's also the abolition of warlords they established it here, which I'll get to. But the Rock Pirates, oh boy, a lot of really big names part of this crew. Whitebeard, Big Mom, Kaido. They mentioned Shiki the Lion. Yes, he apparently was a member of the crew. There was a guy named John. Yeah, who was brought back during the events when there are also Buckingham Saucy is part of the crew. Yeah, they mentioned someone called Silver Axe, don't know who he is, or Ikiku. But yeah, a lot of really big names. And they also explained that, by the way, they also have the place where they have their. So They're basically terrorist pirates. They're basically evil pirates where they attack civilians, the crew attack each other just for power and glory. And of course, the younger Naveman, of course, is explained by Shigoku, the former fleet admiral. He explains that the reason why I know anything about it because it's kept hush hush. Because also the fact that Garp led a basically a big humongous battle against them, where he had to team up with Goldie Roger. Yes, Goldie Roger, the place called God Valley. They fought and they won, and the Rock Pirates were annihilated. Well, there were some survivors mostly, because the only reason we talk about this, because Big Mom and Kaido formed an alliance. Basically, publicly know about this. And of course, basically what happened to God Valley, completely unknown what happened to them. They only just disappeared. I mean, could basically happen to what happened to, like, what happened to our country? That happened a little bit later in the arc? Unknown. All because apparently that apparently the people who ordered the cover it up was Celestials because their slaves were kept to this island. Yep. Yeah. But it's interesting the fact we have this big humongous battle, and we see a young Garp where he basically beats up a bunch of these big pirates with no sword, no gun, just his bare fist, just punching the crap out of these things. Yeah. Shows the fact how much a freaking badass Garp is. Heck, the Navy even knows the fact he is a badass, and this proves the fact he isn't. Garp doesn't speak of it for some reason. And of course, the current fleet admiral comes and said, we're not going to Wano. We're basically, we don't have manpower for that. And of course, Shoko was like, yeah, I know that. I just want to give some words of wisdom to the young generation. And of course, you have Odin, the fact he's part of the Whitebeard. We also get the very famous bounties of these people. And apparently, Whitebeard and Gold Roger had a bounties of over 5 billion. Yes, seriously. And we also show off the fact that apparently of what the bounties are for the various people. Kaido's bounty, which in this very episode, is a whopping 4.611.1 billion. As for Shikio's, I think he may be recaptured. They don't list up his bounty. Nope. But what about Whitebeard? Whitebeard was reported over 5 billion. Like, okay. What about Big Mom? Big Mom's bounty is 4.388 billion. Now, Shanks, his bounty is at 4.4 billion, 48,900,000. That's his current one. Blackbeard, who does appear in these episodes, yes, seriously, he does. His bounty sits at 3.996 billion. So, excuse me, I think of the 4 current emperors at this point in time, who has got the highest bounty? Is it Shanks? I'd say it's probably Kaido. Kaido is basically like 4.611. Big Mom. I'd say it's probably Kaido's probably the highest, and Shanks is probably got third highest. I'd say the smallest is probably Teach. Now, they also mentioned they have recalculated their warlords, the new bounties yet, so it's a good basically catch up basically for some people for the outside stuff. Now, in the case of the previous episode, we get the absolution of the warlords, where Buggy is basically forced to supposedly like fight the Navy and to be on their side. Edward Weevil, the alleged son of Whitebeard, and it's going to be kind of confirmed soon that maybe that is the case, that he is Whitebeard's son, where he basically asks his mother permission to fight the Navy, and she does give her permission. And as for Boa Hancock, who makes a return in episode 957, by the way, this is the first canon appearance of this character since Return to Saba Odi. Yes, it has been that long. As a matter of fact, she does return after this a couple more times after this. Yes, I think like once or twice. After the events of, well, they also mentioned that, well, there's a new organization going to take the place of the, well, of the warlords. Yeah. And it's basically Vegapunk's organization. They're basically taking place as a science group. Yeah, basically 957 is most reference in the anime, but she will make returns soon. In chapter 1059, that's where she made her return. That was at the time. Like, it had been like 100 and... I think it was like 103 chapters since the last appearance. Yeah, we also see Kobe. Yeah, so she does have a couple more appearances coming in the anime, but we'll probably get her really soon. Because if you're really curious, though, basically, the last episode aired, which is 1072, they only just got to chapter 1046, so we might see her return really soon. When? Don't know. We only have about 14, well, overall anyways, for the arc itself, we only have let's see, they got to 1046. So, I thought it was 13 or 14. It's actually 12. Yeah, basically 12 chapters left. That's much left to go adapted for the current thing with the anime. But these episodes are a lot of fun. Thoroughly enjoyed them. And beginning with episode 959, we begin Act 3. Don't know, I had to look up basically see how long the arc is, but it's quite interesting. Yep. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the single view. Next up is going to be a comic corner, and that's going to be on to Mashugu Tensei. And then back to One Piece. Yep.